How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to 2A News Now. And as always, I appreciate everybody that takes time out of their busy schedules to watch my videos, as well as everybody that supports the channel. A little bit over a week ago, I posted a video about the U.S. Supreme Court declining to hear two Second Amendment cases. One was Delaware's ban on assault weapons in high-capacity magazines, and the other was the hoops you have to jump through in Maryland to get a handgun license. And of course we know both of those are unconstitutional. But like I said, for some reason the Supreme Court chose not to hear those two cases. But the good news is that the Supreme Court has relisted two other Second Amendment cases. And what it means when the Supreme Court relists a case is that the justices do not grant or deny a review, but instead will consider a case at their next conference. The first of the two cases we're going to talk about is Snope versus Brown, which just so happens to contest Maryland's ban on semi-automatic rifles, especially ones that are in common use. And here's what the NRA had to say. In a brief to the Supreme Court, the Heller Court applied the text and history test, later expounded in the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. Analyzing the Second Amendment's plain text, Heller determined that the Second Amendment extends prima facie to all bearable arms. Proceeding to our nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation, Heller held that only dangerous and unusual arms may be banned. And because common arms are not unusual, a ban on common arms violates the Second Amendment. Under Heller, this case is simple, because Maryland bans common semi-automatic rifles, including the most popular rifle in America. The ban violates the Second Amendment. And of course, the most popular rifle in America that they're talking about is the AR-15. And according to a recent report from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, there are over 30 million AR-15 rifles in America. And of course, we all know anything that there are 30 million of definitely is in common use. And the other case is Ocean State Tactical versus Rhode Island. And in that case, the question is whether the state of Rhode Island has a right to ban magazines that are in common use. And does that violate the Second Amendment? And here's what the National Shooting Sports Foundation had to say in their brief to the Supreme Court. In District Columbia versus Heller, the court established a clear constitutional rule. If an arm is in common use for lawful purposes by American people, then an absolute prohibition is simply off the table for the government. In the years since Justices Thomas and Alito and then Judge Kavanaugh have all expressly confirmed that Heller meant what it said. If an arm is in lawful common use, it cannot be totally banned. Full stop. That should make this an easy case. What Rhode Island calls large capacity magazines, or LCMs, those that hold more than 10 rounds, are in reality ordinary magazines that are a standard component of the country's most popular firearms. They are in lawful and common use. They are typically possessed by millions of law-abiding Americans seeking to defend themselves, their families, and their communities. We'll just have to wait and see if the Supreme Court will agree to hear these two Second Amendment cases. And they really need to take up both of these cases because the Democrats can't get this done federally. So the gun-hating Democrat states are doing it themselves. And the Supreme Court needs to put a stop to it as soon as possible and make the right ruling in these two cases. And that's to rule that they're unconstitutional, and also to stop making laws that affect the law-abiding citizens instead of them going after criminals. Let me know in the comment section, do you think that the Supreme Court will finally take up either one or both of these cases? And if you guys enjoy videos like this, and also you want to help the channel out and help it to continue to grow, I just ask you to take a few seconds of your time to like, share, and subscribe, and hit those post notifications, as well as leaving a comment in the comment section. I would be very grateful if you did so. And as always, I invite all of you to come back and watch my next video.